It is now 7 o'clock by the official clock on the wall. Minutes of the last meeting.
So, Sally, could you please include in the minutes that I made a motion for an enforcement order for the Scenic Mountains Act, that any further cutting on that property that did not come before the Conservation Commission would result in a fine per the Scenic Mountains Act? And I had made a motion and we voted on it, I thought unanimously.
Right.
So I'd like that included in the minutes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the minutes? Let me find them.
They're in the back.
Make a motion to approve.
I'll make a motion we approve with the one correction.
And I second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Moving on.
They're all the same.
Think anyone else? 6 Mackinac Road, driveway resurfacing. Is there anyone here want to talk about that?
Yes. Sam Mercier.
Yep, Sam, you got the floor.
Great. Yeah, we just want to repair and resurface the driveway. It's paved and they're going to repave it.
Going to tear out the old and put in new, or just go over?
I'm not sure how the contractor does that. I'm really not doing a whole lot of that deal. I'm kind of just here for the homeowner. But there's pavement there already, and I think they're repairing and resurfacing it.
We would kind of like to know how they're going to do that. Is this imminent, or is this a future plan?
No, after the work that we're doing there currently, or about to be, they're hoping to have it paved by winter. It's in rough shape right now.
Yeah, I've seen it. I agree with you.
You've walked it, yeah.
Actually, I walked it when there's snow on the ground too.
Yeah, right.
Why don't we continue this? You get back to us with a plan of what they're going to do. And the only suggestion I have is that you talk to whoever's going to do the resurfacing, that they make sure that water is not shed into the middle of the road.
Yeah, I would imagine that they would be on top of that. I think Metcalf is who's looking at doing it.
I think that's it, yeah.
Yeah, but this does not have.
I don't think it has the driveway on it.
Yeah, we've got the project here description,
But not the driveway.
not the driveway.
Yeah, I mean, it's over the existing driveway. They're not changing anything about the driveway. They just want to resurface it because it's falling apart.
When we looked at it at the last site visit, Jamie and I, we felt as though there should be some sort of a berm at the bottom that would direct the water away from the road and into the drainage ditch. I think that they would need to do that as part of the project.
All right.
Okay.
If you could just give a description of, or have them, I don't care if it's contractor, homeowner, or you, of how they're going to repair the driveway and where the water's going to go when it reaches the end of the driveway, and then we'll probably be fine with it.
Okay.
All right?
Sounds good. Thank you. And then as
Can
far
somebody-
as the meeting that we had there last week, are we all set on that? I met with Sally and Lisa.
What's his name?
No, Jamie.
Jamie,
sorry.
It's okay.
yes, we're good with that.
Okay. Excellent.
We'll
Thank you.
We'll include it all in this notice of intent, driveway and everything.
No, the notice of the driveway is not included in the notice of intent. It's a
Oh.
repair and resurface, so I don't know that, that they need to actually file with us. Their jurisdictional area is far away and it is a repair. But we would like to have some description of how it's going to be done.
All right, so that'll be separate from the notice of intent that you filed here.
Yes.
We just want a description of the job and how it's gonna be done and what it's gonna end up as. And,
Okay. What's the best way to get that to you?
Email.
Okay,
yeah, to the Concom office.
okay, sounds good.
That's the simplest way.
Sure.
Who is Robert's iPad? You're muted. Who is Robert's iPad? I need to know for the minutes. Can you unmute and tell me who you are, please?
Robert Daly?
Okay, thank you.
Okay. So we're good with 6 Mackinac.
Thank you. Good night.
Nice. All right, public hearing for Bernard Hahn continued. Tri-Walk Limited, Bean Hill Road, Graylock Design,
Continued.
continued. Houstonic Railroad, no one's here, I'm guessing,
I
continued.
don't see anybody. I don't see anybody.
Mackinac Terrace Association, stairs and railing, White Engineering,
Nada.
nope, not a here. Four Cove Lane, Mary Bacon. Demolition, reconstruction house and related site work.
Berkshire Engineering, but I don't see anybody from Berkshire Engineering.
All right. Continued. Notice of intent.
And then Sam was here for 6 Mackinac Road.
Yeah,
I think we, Jamie and I both felt it was okay. Not that I should necessarily speak for her, but
It's okay.
not much has changed from the beginning. Hello, Patrick. 24 Birch Lane.
so we just, wait, we need to, close 6 Mackinac.
All right. Hang on just a sec.
Okay,
All right, let me make a motion to
Wait a minute.
close.
I make a motion, we close number 6
Second.
Mackinac.
I second it.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Hi.
I will sign that after.
okay, I just want to make sure that's Jay and Jamie, right?
Yeah,
Okay, thank you.
you're welcome.
All right, next, 24 Birch Lane. Is anyone here? Kaplan?
I sent her an email telling her that someone should come for this. Truthfully, I haven't looked to see if she responded.
That's the one you and I walked upon.
Yes,
I was there, by there the other day, I didn't look.
so I guess we need to continue.
All right. Yeah. Any other business? The performance standards have been sent to the lawyer. Oh, I see a hand.
Pat, do you have a question, Pat?
You're muted, Pat.
I have to unmute myself. I don't know if this is the appropriate time to ask. It's a procedural question about something that the SBA needs to get before the Conservation Commission. So I don't know if it's appropriate to ask this now or to wait till the end of the meeting. You tell me.
We're close to the end of the meeting. Go for it.
Okay. I had sent Sally an email. I don't know if she's had a chance to look at it yet, but the crux of the issue is that the SBA, along with Solitude, is asking the DEP to move the control test areas for the fluoridone test. And the DEP has come back to us and asked us to coordinate that and make sure that the Conservation Commission and the town are apprised of it and are all right with it, so that we would not have, say, two conflicting orders of condition about this issue. And so my question is, how do I formally present that to you? What information do you need? How do I go about making this happen?
Good question.
Well, the horse is sort of out of the barn on that one at the moment, because we approved the order of conditions for the weed harvesting based on the original filing.
Correct. And one of the requests that I made and would like to make is that, and again, I'm sorry that I didn't send everyone the revised map, but of the three original areas, one remains a valid test area, and that's the area south by Beechwood. The other two areas, the control one that was up by Tanglewood Beach, and then the one that was on the west side of the lake north of the island, when the survey was done, there wasn't enough milfoil, in other words, not 50%, to make it a valid test area. So the proposal is to move two of the test areas. One is up more by Mackinac Shores, and then the control area is more in the White Pines area. And again, if you had the map in front of you, you could see it. So my proposal was, at least in terms of the immediate harvesting, is to avoid the two proposed areas, avoid the areas that are in the original orders of condition, even though they may move, and harvest what you can immediately until we get this resolved, which would be a significant portion of the west side of the lake, the outlet, the town beach, et cetera. So I'm trying to figure out how we actually move forward in terms of this. And that's why I'm asking your advice and counsel.
Patrick,
Hi, Pat, how are you? Can you hear me?
What? I had my hand up.
Oh, you got it. Okay.
who's there?
Roxanne, you want to speak?
Yeah. I just wanted to let Pat know that probably the appropriate way is to send in a formal email requesting a meeting with both the Conservation Commission and the Select Board to discuss your proposed changes.
And I agree with Roxanne. I think we mentioned that on Friday morning at our meeting, so that would probably be the most efficient way.
So let me be clear. Are you suggesting that I request a joint meeting between the town and the Conservation Commission and not something that's necessarily on your schedule?
Yes.
Okay. I can do that immediately. Let me, if you'll indulge me a little bit more in terms of making sure that I use all of our time the most efficient way. What do you need from me at that meeting?
Roxanne?
Yeah, we're going to need that proposed map,
Okay.
and that's basically it. And whatever your rationale is for making the moves, which we
Okay.
discussed, okay?
Okay, I can do that. expect, so, okay, let me again, from a procedural standpoint, do I send the email to the Concom to Sally and Roxanne? Do I send the one to you for the entire town, or do I have to CC everybody on this?
I would
Everybody
say-
you should go to Conservation Commission at Town of Stockbridge, no, wait.
Yeah.
Conservation Commission at Stockbridge.ma.gov.
Stockbridge-NA.
Hyphen-mass.gov, yeah.
That's right.
I'll find it.
hyphen-mass.gov.
I will find it. And for
Because
the
that
town,
way it
Roxanne?
goes to everybody and we don't have to copy each other and all that stuff. It goes to me, it goes to everyone on the commission.
Right.
Excellent.
And
the
I
same
think
thing-
the commission is gonna want to know why, more information on why you've chosen to move it and are these the only places in the entire lake where there's 50% milfoil?
Well,
Yes, and I could, obviously, actually Roxanne was out on the boat, but I can get the data from Solitude and supply you with that about why the areas that were chosen and why the areas that were previously chosen don't fit the criteria that the DEP is required anymore. So I can do
And
that certainly.
They've done physical tests on the milfoil to determine for sure that it's not native milfoil.
I've talked to a couple of people about the native milfoil, and I trust that Dominic knows the difference between invasive and native.
You can't tell looking at it from the boat.
I've also talked to other people that said the only native milfoil that's been found in the Berkshires is in Onoda and none in Stockbridge Bowl. But again, I will deal with that when we meet so that you feel comfortable that we have the correct data.
Well,
right,
I'm
and
just
I-
giving you a heads up on, that's what we're gonna wanna know. We're gonna wanna know, did they in fact look at the actual plants? So that we know that they're looking at the Eurasian milfoil. We are gonna wanna know if those were the only areas in the entire lake that they found a sufficient number, in which case that would indicate that most of the lake is free of Eurasian milfoil. We're gonna have a lot of questions about this.
Okay.
Ron, may I?
Pat, can I
Ron?
say,
Ron,
I
this
say-
is Roxanne. Could I respond for
Sure.
1 second, please? As well as sending to the Conservation Commission this request for a meeting, it should also go to the selectmen at Stockbridge-mass.gov and to M. Canales, our town administrator, same thing, at Stockbridge-mass.gov. And I
Okay.
can tell you that no samples were taken other than the ones that I requested. One thing that came up when we were out on the lake with Solitude was they were taking GPS coordinates, and it was indicated that they were going to plot those GPS coordinates of the location of supposed Eurasian water milfoil on a map. And I had requested that we receive that information, and I've never seen that. So that would be an important piece of information to produce, is the GPS coordinates that they took that day, placed on a map so that visually we can all see what we're talking about.
Okay.
Patrick, did you want to add something?
let me, Pat,
Yes, Ron.
if this change has any influence on the weed harvesting this summer, and it doesn't happen, this is all on the SBA, not the Conservation Commission. We're not taking the blame for no weed harvesting this summer. It'll be the SBA and their desire to change these locations. Is that clear?
Well, you can only deal with the information that you have at the moment. So you've got an order of conditions to do weed harvesting. So that was the response that I had received from Roxanne on Friday, is that they would proceed with the information they had at hand until there was a directive to do otherwise.
So if we,
Correct, I agree. That's exactly how
So
it's been
my
discussed.
point, Ron, is that the weed harvester is not on the lake right now, but the SBA doesn't have anything to do with that problem at the moment.
Well, right now, it's not a problem. We have a GPS tracking requirement from NHESP. So the GPS unit has been installed on the weed harvester, and we are just waiting for a text file of the GPS coordinates that we can then upload into that unit so that we can begin. So we're hoping it's as soon as possible.
Okay.
Patrick, did you
Patrick.
add something?
I just want to point out that when I was walking in the meeting late, I ran into the woman that is one of the part of leadership of the Josh. And she ran up to me and pleaded with me to get the weed problem under control before mid-September. And I just want to encourage everybody around the table, if we lose that race, that has real impact on the town. And I understand, Pat, that you guys want to change the map and all the rest of it. Personally, that's fine. You know, that's above my pay grade. But, you know, I would like to at least get some of the lake harvested so that people can swim and canoe and do the things they do in mid-September at the Josh, per their request.
Yeah, and I don't disagree with that, Patrick. It's all, I mean, you know, we're almost at the middle of August right now and people need relief. I do not disagree with that position.
All right, we'll have this meeting scheduled.
Well, if we
Excellent.
don't even have the GPS, if we don't have the GPS coordinates, how are we gonna do, have the harvester out there? And that's not the town that has it.
Sally, we do have some GPS coordinates for the existing control and test sites. We only have the GPS
Okay.
coordinates for the corners of those already approved areas. However, it is possible that we can actually program the entire route of the harvester, and that's the piece that we're waiting for. If we don't get it real quickly, I can guarantee you we will go down and program in those coordinates of those test and control areas so that we avoid them.
Patrick, one more time.
Speaking of the harvester, I just want to point out that Michael Nathan has really rescued the town because nobody applied for the job of running it, which is only going to be for a month. And as a volunteer, he basically is kind of helping us make sure that we have an operator. And I just wanted to thank him and make sure that he understands that that certainly the select board, and I hope the Conservation Commission as well, appreciates his volunteerism for the town and in this specific instance.
Patrick, I need to correct you, Patrick. I'm sorry, but he has actually been, he has become an employee of the town. This cannot be run by a volunteer. He will be employed. What he does with that pay is his business.
Yeah.
No, he's a paid employee.
Have to be to run it.
Yeah, I know. I understand.
He's volunteered to be the employee now.
He did volunteer. The town made him become an employee, but that's fine.
Totally.
That wasn't the point I was making. You know.
Any other questions? Comments? All right, we'll let, we need information before we can set up the meeting. Hopefully we'll get the information, then we'll set the meeting up. Oh, and I don't know if it can happen this week or next week. We'll see.
I will get everything to you as soon as possible, and when we can get it organized, that would be great. But I appreciate your helping me through the process and how to best get this done. So thank you.
Thanks, Pat.
Thank you.
Can we do it informal for the town?
We're not done.
Hang on.
Oh.
We will need to post this meeting. Patrick, who will do that? Because I'm in the Adirondacks. I mean, I can still post a meeting on behalf of the Conservation Commission, but I'm going to have to be given that information. And if it would be sent to my personal address rather than my, as well as the town address, that would be good.
I think Teresa can post
Because
it.
Yeah.
I get my home email on my phone. I do not get my town of Stockbridge email on my phone.
All right, I'll stop in tomorrow and if you're here, we'll talk to Teresa about it. We'll see what we can set up. Give everybody notification and time to attend.
Anita has her hand up.
Who does?
Anita,
Thank you, Sally.
Anita
Thank
has
you,
her
Ron.
hand up.
Is it okay if I speak? I was just hoping you could clarify about the harvesting. I thought it was going to start this week, and then SBA wants to change the test sites. Is that going to prevent the harvesting from starting this week? Or are they just going to avoid the previous test sites? Or just avoid anything that might be a test site?
We have an agreement with NHSB. We can't change. We can harvest less. We cannot harvest areas we don't have permission to harvest.
So you might come down the outlet and actually start this week?
Once again, about my.
Waiting for the GPS.
How
Yeah,
long does that
we're
take?
going to, Anita, we're going to start harvesting as soon as we can. We can
Thank you, Roxanne.
proceed with the actual approved order of conditions that's in place for the SBA herbicide project. We have to avoid those areas for now. Should it be agreed that they change, and this was, the final order of conditions was actually a negotiated settlement between the Conservation Commission, the town, and the SBA. And that is why we have to have the meeting to discuss the proposed changes. But should they change, we will then proceed accordingly and still harvest, but we would have to avoid different areas.
Okay.
But won't that negate the whole thing? Because the part of the order of conditions stated that there wouldn't be any work done in any of the areas that were going to be tested.
Guys, this isn't on the agenda. We really need to schedule a meeting.
Yeah,
Yeah, this needs to be in the scheduled meeting.
we'll go to the meeting, next meeting. Everybody gather their thoughts, jot it down on paper. Should be an
By the
interesting.
time DEP gets back to us, it's going to be October anyway. There's not going to be any change.
All right. So we're gonna need the maps, GPS locations. I will say that the harvester is on the trailer lined up at the highway garage. So
Go on to the next.
it could possibly hit the water soon. Up next, National Grid. We have papers to sign for that. Any discussion on that? And otherwise, we'll just sign. I'll tell you what you got here.
This one. Do we have to sign that?
We're gonna hang on to that.
Okay.
Other business jurisdictionals, upcoming business, performance standards have been sent to the lawyers.
Have it, good.
I believe so.
I sent them.
Roxanne, are you still on?
Roxanne?
Yes, I'm here.
So just informally, can I do that now?
Yeah, go ahead.
We just wanted to know, Tom Coot identified some water chestnut, some invasive water chestnut. That's like, it's still manageable by hand pulling, but it's 20 times more than we had last year, what he also pointed out. And if we don't pull it, we might get that kind of 20x spread again, and it could literally take over the lake. And so we're wondering if we need to go through some process to hand pull the water chestnuts, or if we can just do it. Because they're starting to float to the surface, and those little nuts are gonna start spreading.
It's invasive?
Just that, it's invasive, yeah.
It's invasive and it spreads very quickly. And so this has come up before, but the question is can you do an RDA that we can then do this quickly and get out there and try to nip it in the bud?
I'd like to even avoid the RDA. I just want you to tell us it's okay to pull invasive weeds. Basically, 2 weeks to your next meeting, we're already in September, and this thing is gonna be spreading. You just identified it. I think we should just start dealing with it. Not get,
That's not true. Last summer we talked about it.
Yeah, nothing happened.
No, but I'm saying his report just came in.
Oh,
Have you seen this report?
Yes, you saw it too, didn't you?
Oh.
Oh, he sent it to you. He said he sent it to both of us. I can forward it.
What time did it come in?
Maybe, Roxanne, when do we get that?
I've seen it. Hang on, I can go look.
Came in before the SBA meeting, so last Friday.
Really?
Yeah.
All right, I'll check. He told me he was gonna be in that week, I just hadn't seen it.
Yeah. I can
Please,
send it to the whole Concom if you want.
please,
I'm
yeah.
gonna send it right now.
Who would pull it, Patrick?
Well, just Michael will have to figure it out. Volunteers, we'll pay someone, we'll kidnap someone, I don't know. But,
But
I think we should
I
do
guess
it
the
quickly.
reason I'm asking, is it really identifiable? I mean, that they wouldn't be pulling
Yeah, it
everything?
looks similar, but not that similar to the Lilies.
This might be a place for the,
I have a
Josh
picture
Billing
Lisa I'll forward
volunteers
to you.
Yeah, that's right. The non-competitive ones.
whatever.
You need to sign the Mackinac, the Housatonic thing too.
Before we move on, that's okay with everybody that we just pull them. Good.
All in favor? Aye.
Hey, thank you.
So, Sally, do we sign that without the enforcement order attached?
Yes, it's a denial.
Okay, and then then the enforcement order goes where?
The enforcement order is something totally different.
Okay. So we'll sign that.
But that's a denial of their request under the Scenic Mountain Act. So they
Okay.
can't go forward with a project as proposed.
Okay, and then we'd have the enforcement order at the next meeting to sign?
The enforcement order needs to be developed. I'm not sure that there's a form for the enforcement order for Scenic Mountains at this point. I think we might have to use the one from wetlands.
I think there is. I can look into it if you want me to.
Yeah, that'd be great. I don't have it if we
Okay.
do.
I'll see if I can find it.
Any other business?
That's quick.
Try. How about the
I do have,
Mackinac Road? We can sign that one?
and Ron, I did have one more thing.
I
Okay,
have a question. There was a,
go for it.
19 Lakeview had been on the agenda last meeting and we didn't get to it. It's where they had clear cut. I think you went to look
Yeah,
at it.
yeah.
I went to look at it.
It was bad.
It was bad. So we need to get that.
19 Lake,
There was a map that had trees and then they went and cut every tree that was there.
It was clear cut
oh,
all the way down to the lake.
around the corner, down the,
Yeah. So if we could get that back on the next agenda, Sally?
Yeah,
Thank you.
some of these are quite interesting. I went to Birch Lane, and after I this had to do with that, we're discussing, the map was very unclear. So I just happened to say, I'm going this afternoon. He said, I'll go after lunch. We met, right? He coming one way and me the other way at the exact same moment. And they'd already started the building. No permits. Zip. So I'll have to see where that goes.
Ned stopped them.
Well, he couldn't find anybody, but he was definitely in the mood to stop something.
Well said.
Uh-huh.
What number, Birch Lane?
4. I do believe he's quite familiar with who the engineering builders were. It's still, I'm not doing it.
Enough said.
Enough said. Okay. Any other business?
Who's the homeowner at 4 Birch Lane?
I don't have any paperwork for it.
We can look it up on the Mass GIS.
I'll find out tomorrow.
Okay.
I spend a lot of time here. Make a motion?
I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Oh, can I? Yeah,
Wait, Pat has her hand up.
I just,
Hurry, Pat.
when you were talking about water chestnuts, I remembered something and I just grabbed it online about hand pulling. So I don't know, I was a little unclear about what the resolution of how we were going to deal with it. But they talk about having to be very careful, especially right now when they start to drop their seeds, of gently getting it out by the root and not letting any of the seeds disperse, or we're going to make the problem worse. So I don't know who's going to do this or if we're getting volunteers, but I just want to make sure that they understand how it has to be done so it doesn't make the problem worse, not better.
You have any
Yeah.
scoop
The
here?
important part of this is getting those seeds, because that's how
Correct.
it's spreading. So the seed packets are fairly recognizable. You can go online and it's actually a quite recognizable plant. So go out online and take a look at the pictures, because the seed pods are pretty recognizable. And those, you do not need any kind of permission to get the seed pods. The plants,
Yeah, no, I'm just
pulling, I
saying,
think you do.
Can you eat them?
Chestnuts,
Yeah.
Thanksgiving.
You can.
Ken?
No, you can.
You can.
Oh, okay. Sort of like experimental mushrooms.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, Rachel Childers is on. She wanted to talk.
Hi, thanks for having me. I had been emailing with Sally a tiny bit where the property, I had questions about invasive species management and a potential solar project. So I was told that I could request an informal walkthrough to take a look at our wetlands and to get advice from the commission, if that's at all possible. We would like
And
that.
this was
What's
South
your-
Street, right?
South Street,
What number?
14.
Do you have a location for the solar panels?
We're looking at either a ground mount or on the roof of a barn.
On the roof of the barn shouldn't really concern us.
Yes, there's the two companies we had coming for quotes suggested that in order to achieve the maximum usage, we would need to take down several trees by the barn. So that's primarily what I was concerned with.
We will need to have a site visit. You're gonna need the trees marked that are potential removals.
Okay,
The ground base, we're gonna need to know where that is, and if there's any removals involved with that. And some sort of diagram or we need to know how you're gonna put the ground base into the ground. If you gotta dig,
And where the wetlands are.
we'll
Yes.
probably be able to figure that out down there, but.
yeah, okay. Thank you. So we need to, I'm sorry to ask a question, it might be silly. We need to have the plans decided and then come to the commission
Yes,
first?
yes.
Okay. Okay,
Well, they don't have to be final. I mean, if you have options, like you want to do either or,
uh-huh,
if you can tell us what would be involved if you did one versus what would be involved if you did the other, then we can, make some recommendations as to what might be less of a concern to us.
okay. Okay, great, thank you, I'm sorry. Thank you for
No,
your
that's
time.
good.
When you get that together, send it to the Conservation Commission.
Okay,
We'll try to
great, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Any other business?
There was another one. Oh, no, she's.
Did someone else want to speak?
No.
Are we done there? Everybody's all set?
I make a motion we adjourn
Second,
again.
again.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, aye, aye.
Good night.
Bye.